Hey guys, this is Mr. H. This is question number 30 from the Algebra 1 June 2024 Regents exam. Uh, Now this one we didn't do very good on because we really didn't spend a lot of time on factoring. But it's not a well, I'm not going to say it's easy, but there's just a couple things you got to be able to do. And I'm going to list them. First thing you're going to do is you're going to make this into a function. So we're going to make it into a function. Um, make it into a function. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to find the GCF for the numbers of each term. We're going to find the GCF of the terms. In this case, we have two terms, so we're just going to find the GCF. And then we're going to graph the function, and we're going to find the zeros. And once we find the zeros, we know what the factors are. All right, so let's just do that. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to make this, we can make it anything, but we're going to make it f of x equals 20x to the third power minus 45x. So this is what we're going to graph, okay? But the first thing I'm going to, or the second thing I'm going to do once I made it into a function, I'm just going to take 20 and 45, and I'm going to find the GCF, the greatest common factor or greatest common divisor. Now, I'm going to use the calculator because I think it's easier. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to do menu, it's numbers, and right here, option number 5, it says greatest common divisor. That's the same thing as greatest common factor. So the way that you use this is just go, you put in the numbers and you separate them with a comma, and then you put in the second number. And then you press enter, and it's going to give you the greatest common factor. So this is telling you that the greatest common factor or the greatest common divisor is 5. So we're going to put that because we're going to need that later. So that means the greatest common factor is 5. So now we're going to graph this and we're going to find the zeros. So let's go back to the calculator, go back here, press tab, and then we're going to put 20 to the, oops, man, this calculator is really sensitive. 20x to the third power. Again, this is very frustrating. Let me try this again. Okay, I was trying to put 1, and then we got minus 45x. All right, so we're just going to press enter. And you can see that there are 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3. So all we're going to do is do menu 61, find out what they are. So here's the first one. It's a negative 1.50. And then we're going to do menu 61 again. And this one is, boop, it's 0, 0. And then we're going to do menu 61 one more time. And here is the third one. So a negative 1.5, 0, and 1.5 are the zeros. So I'm going to write these down on my, so x equals negative 1.5, x equals 0, and x equals a positive 1.5. Now, we're going to convert these decimals into fractions because we basically want to set these equations equal to 0. And once we have them equal to 0, those are going to be our factors. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to convert a negative, I'm going to convert 1.5 or a negative 1.5. I'm going to convert it into a fraction. So if I go back here, if I do a negative 1.5, actually that's backwards, so control. So again, I'm going to go here to menu, I'm going to go to number, and then I'm going to go to approximate to a fraction. And I should have started with the answer. So I'm going to put in a negative 1.5. And then what it's going to do is it's going to take this number and make it into a fraction. And so there's a fraction. So I can go back here and I know my fractions is it's going to be x equals a negative 3 over 2. This is just x equals 0, and this is x equals a positive 3 over 2. Now, all you're going to do is set these equal to 0, and the way you do that is you move this to the right or to the left-hand side. So this is going to be x plus 3 over 2 equals 0, x equals 0, and this is going to be x minus 3 over 2, because I subtract 3 over 2 from both sides, equals 0. Now that I have this, these are my factors. The only thing I need to do, though, is they don't like fractions. They don't like fractions. So how do we get rid of this 2 on the bottom? Well, if we multiply the entire equation by 2, and this one by 2, then we'll get rid of that. So this will be 2x plus 3 equals 0. This is x equals 0, and this will be 2x minus 3 equals 0. So these are our factors, and we can just put them together. So our factor is going to be x times 2x plus 3 times 2x minus 3. And now all we do is we stick the GCF in front, and we are done. So here is the completely factored form: 5x times 2x plus 3 times 2x minus 3. That's our factored form of this polynomial. And we're done. Now, before we finish, if you want to check this, you should graph this and you should graph this, and they should be identical. If for some reason they're not, that means you've made a mistake with your factoring. This, if you graph it, and this, when you graph it, should be identical. In fact, let me just do that. Let me go back here. We already have that one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press tab, and I'm going to put in 5x times, and then I'm going to put 2x minus 3, 2x minus 3, and then 2x plus 3. And then I press enter. And notice they are identical. If you wanted to, you could check the table to make sure every number lines up. And let me make this little window a little smaller. Okay, where am I? Yeah, here it is. All right, so if you can see that the outputs are all the same. So these two are identical. So we're good. That's the answer: 5x times 2x plus 3 times 2x minus 3. So we're good. That's it. All right, I'm going to stop this and sign off. Oh, before I sign off, I've created some videos on how to factor. So if you watch this video and you're like, wow, Mr. H, I still don't quite get that process, then there are some other videos that you can watch. And what I'm going to do is at the very end of this video, I'm going to have a link to the playlist where you can watch a couple more videos that would show you, or some more examples on how to factor the GCF, finding the zeros, if it has fractions, what to do with them. So I'm going to include that at the end of this video. All right, I'm going to stop and post it. Well, I'm trying.